And we're live. It's a newer intro transition between the scenes, so it's a little bit quicker this time around. I gotta get my timing right. Hello, welcome in everybody to Morning Ritual, our TTRPG talk show. We're here.
We're queer.
We are, yeah.
Get used to it. We did it, y'all. That's the show, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for
Just
coming.
Move it to the next one.
Hey, everybody. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Noir. You can find me all over the internet as TTRPGs. I got my he/they. And this is your other host.
Hi, Anita, pronouns she, they, resident menace, gremlin energy. Very tired today, but we're getting through it. And we've got an amazing guest for you today. Tell us about yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Nala or Jay. I use both. My pronouns are they, them. I'm on Twitter at NalaWu and at NalaDraws if you like to see some art. And I woke up early for this, and I'm super excited to be here.
Heck yeah.
I've got my tea. Cheers.
So we always start groggy, but once the coffee kicks in, it's a mess. So just hold on for that moment. You'll see the switch.
Yeah, I think the vibes are gonna get more and more rancid as we go.
I hope you guys are ready for pure raccoon energy this morning.
Good morning. Are you ready to rumble?
No, we gotta pay rights for that.
Oh, are you ready to brawl?
That's better.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't say that in Smash. So one of the things I want to talk about, let's get down to man, you're all over the place when it comes to art. Can you give us a list of some of the projects that you worked on? Because they're all fucking awesome.
Oh boy,
Yeah, you're
talk
on the
about
spot
my
now.
work? Yeah, sure.
Well, joke's on you because I actually have a list in front of me. So, my work has been featured on a lot of different projects, but some of my favorites have been Apocalypse Keys, which is coming out soon.
Heck yeah.
I don't think the Kickstarter's over yet, but it's ending soon. So if you haven't pledged to that, you should. And if it's over, you should pledge late because this game is really cool. And I'm very excited about my work specifically on this because I got hired to work in a style that I don't really get hired for. And it's one of my favorite styles to work in. It's just very unlike anything I do otherwise. It's heavily textured and designed to look like lino cut or like woodcut block prints. And it's very fun. I also did work interior art for Unbreakable Revolution, Coyote and Crow, and the Any Gold winning Uncaged Goddesses. I also am one of the featured artists on the Adventuring Artist Tarot deck for sale on Die Hard Dice's website, and on my itch.io, which is itch.io/NalaDraws. I have a collection of diverse vampire portraits that you can purchase for your own games for the cheap price of, I believe, $15. You can get 11 high quality portrait arts for only $15. The art community and TTRPG Twitter has been all the talk about AI art and making art accessible. But you know what? This art is valued at almost $1,000 and you can get it for $15. And all the profits from this are split evenly amongst contributors. So if you'd like to support all of these POC artists who drew these wonderful, super diverse vampires from a whole variety of genres, check out Diverse Vampires. What else am I in? I did a tarot card for the Alimentero, which is also on Kickstarter right now. It is going to be a card included with a podcast CD set that they're doing. And it was really cool because every single artist was given the same prompt, and we were asked not to look at each other's work, look at previous iterations of the character described, and to just draw what we think based on the prompt that we were given. And everyone got the same prompt. And it's really cool seeing the totally different directions that all the different artists took this. So very cool.
That's so cool.
But yes, that that be it. That
Yeah.
is a selection of some of my finest work. Oh, and if you'd like to see more of my work, you can go to my portfolio. It's naladraws.com. That's Nala, like the Lion King, and draws, like the artist action.
So I've got a question. Do you prefer to work on like work from a publisher, or do you prefer to work on Kickstarters?
I have done both. And in my experience, it's been largely the same as far as the art process goes.
Okay.
Like the actual, like, how I get approached by the client, the process of creating the art, all of that is pretty much the same. Because if it's a Kickstarter, they are paying me beforehand. I don't do work for free and like to do it like, oh, if the Kickstarter funds will pay you. Like, no, that's bullshit. And any artists out there, don't fucking do it for no money. Either they pay you up front or you don't do the art until it funds and they have the funds to pay you. But yeah, like the process on the art side is pretty much the same. So I am just preferring to work on projects that have functioning leadership and are well organized and yeah, just communicate well, because sometimes you work on things and things go to shit real fast, and that's not fun. And it doesn't matter if it's a Kickstarter or a publisher. If it's shit, it's shit.
So have you learned to pick up any red flags, like when a project's gonna go bad?
Oh boy, howdy, have I. Hey, if you want to work with artists and you've never talked to a living, breathing human artist before, here's some tips. You should know generally how much art costs, please. I've worked on indie projects that pay way better than publishers that are very well-established companies that have the money to pay artists but don't. Also, full copyright transfers are very expensive. And if you want, I know you're laughing because we talked about this earlier this week when I saw you in person, but copyright transfers, i.e. you as the client have complete ownership of the work. Those are very expensive, and you should expect to pay double or triple what the artist was quoting originally if you want full copyright on the work that they're creating. Heads up on that. But generally, also the whole like full page, half page, quarter page rates are kind of aged out now that most artists work digitally, because those rates were a thing back when a lot of artists were working traditionally, and a full page painting would be physically larger than what is needed for a half-page painting or a quarter-page spot art. So therefore, full-page art would cost more because physically the canvas would be larger.
It's more work.
It's more work. It's more paint. It's more time. Now, when everything's digital, that doesn't really matter as much anymore, because as a digital artist, you can work as big or as small as the client needs. And at least for me, I don't speak for all artists, but at least for me, I base my rates on how complicated the desired composition is and how much time I think it's going to take. It doesn't matter if it's gonna be a full page or a half page or a tiny itty bitty little like magic card sized like inches wide. Like for me, it matters how much time and effort am I going to be putting into this? How much detail are you requiring? How many figures are in the scene? Or is it just an environment? Is there perspective? Like all of those things affect the rate for me. And so project red flags for me, like I am less likely to work on your project if it seems like you've never talked to an artist before and you don't know how the art thing works, or if you massively underquote me. Like if you're like, I want you to do this really complicated scene and I'm only paying you $200. I'm not going to do that. Like, and it really sucks because that there are artists who will take that. And that's something I have to, like, as an artist, always be aware of, that like, if I won't do it, there's 100 other people who can, because there's always going to be somebody who can paint better than me. There's always going to be somebody who is a better, draftsman and technical artist than I. That's just the nature of it. And I'm hoping that more and more artists will, start charging what they're worth, so that these publishers who are big names can, hopefully raise their rates, because the things that I've been quoted by established companies is absolutely ridiculous. Meanwhile, I had an indie project that paid me close to $500 for a half-page art. So,
So if you're a project manager that hasn't talked to an artist, how would you approach an artist? I'm guessing would you rather one of them say, "Hey, I don't know what art costs, help me," or would you prefer that they do the research on their own?
This is actually something that that's a really good question, because at least for me, I do consultations. So when I was hired on some on my the project actually that I'm art directing for Games Unbound, before I took the job as art director, we had a consultation meeting where they paid a consultation fee for the meeting, and I sat down and basically explained to them, as art director, here's the things that I can do, and here's how much I think the art might cost. And we talked a little bit about like the client's desired style for the book, and I was like, okay, so you want this style for the portraits, sounds cool. Here's about how much that would run you per bust. Like, obviously every artist is going to charge differently, and we want to charge the same rate for every artist. So we're like, okay, so on average these busts cost, I don't know, I've seen artists charge anywhere from $40 to like $100 for a bust in this style. Sometimes $30. People grossly undervalue themselves. But anyways, and so I was like, okay, if we pay $80 per bust, that is higher than most artists' rate for this work, and we will be upfront about that rate when I put out applications. Therefore, everyone applying has read and agreed to the rate of $80 for this specific piece, or for this specific style that we're looking for. And so we talked about all of that in the consultation meeting, and I told them that as art director, I would be the one doing the application, looking over the applications, and doing all of that stuff. So that was something that I could do, and I'm happy to give anyone a consult if you're interested in hiring some artists, never done it before. I can help you feel and appear like a person when you approach your dream artists.
I didn't know art consultation was a thing, so that's actually a very awesome solution to that problem of how do I talk to artists?
Yeah, you can pay someone like me to tell you things.
All right, so I have to get into this because you're an expert in this. I would love to know your thoughts on AI art. I know, I'm sorry.
Okay. So, fun fact, I was actually interviewed by Polygon for that one article that kind of took off and started everyone in TTRPGs talking about AI art. I was interviewed for that over the summer. And over the summer, I had a relatively, if we were on a scale from a really positive feeling about AI art to this fucking sucks. Oh, can I curse on this show?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I should have asked in the green room. Anyway, if we were on a scale, I was in the middle, very neutral, but slightly on the side of positive, and I'll explain that in a second. But when I got interviewed over the summer, I was basically talking about, because basically I've been exposed to AI art since around 2018. The concept of AI art or AI generations was introduced to me in art school as a tool to help artists. As a concept artist, which is what I was studying, concept artists are paid for idea generation. So basically we have to poop out a lot of ideas in a very short amount of time so that we can quickly decide on visual concepts for the game, show, character design, whatever. And so being a concept artist means coming up with a shit fuck ton of ideas really fast. And in art school, we were taught about AI helping with composition and generating those things. We learned how to use, like, there's this one AI site that I don't remember what it's called, but you could basically block out with different colors, which are programmed to be different elements like water, sky, clouds, rocks, grass, field, mountain, trees, etc. And you can like blorbo that stuff with like a hard round brush. Like it looks like an MS Paint drawing at first, but then using your vague blockouts, like say you have a little square composition, you're like, I want a tree in this corner, so you like slurp like with a mouse like a little brown thing. Like the AI will take that and then poop out an image that has a highly rendered, realistic or like painterly sort of version of the composition you asked for. Right. So this is, and then we were taught to take that, because AI art cannot be copyrighted just by nature of it. You cannot copyright AI art. And so we as students were told, you can take anything that AI generates and basically use it as inspiration. You can paint over it to bring something to finish super quickly. You can mix mash it, mishmash, you can photo bash it, etc., etc., etc. Like basically we were taught to use it to our advantage to help us make art that is more finished, or right, to use it for concept generation. And so at that time I was really excited about it. I have used AI art in the past. I've put pictures that I find online. I've stuck it through AI art to make it less photorealistic and more of a painterly thing. And then I've like looked at how the lighting and shadows affect it. And I've used that sort of like, I've used color palettes from AI art. I've done paint overs, like all of those things. I've done concept generation for a thing that is still under NDA. So like, I can't show that, but like at the time when I was interviewed, it was something that was so exciting for artists. Yeah. At least in my opinion, it was very innovative, and it was like the hot cutting edge new technology, which is why we learned about it in art school. But then as the summer months went on and I saw more and more people just literally trying to get this AI to spit out art in the style of specific artists who are still alive, where you can commission them, and AI art bros being like, I worked really hard on the prompt generation for this, and people selling portraits that they generated using AI, like all of that. Like it's so demoralizing, because this tool that I thought was a tool for artists is now being used and weaponized against us. Yeah. And there's a very real threat of our jobs being taken away, not because AI art is better, because let's be frank, it's not. I can look at an AI piece and pretty much, especially for portraiture, I can recognize an AI portrait.
They never get easily. The eyes right.
Yeah, the little things are always fucked. Like it's always slightly fucked. And me, as someone who has extensive training in portraiture, specifically portraiture, like I am a classically trained portrait artist, whatever the fuck you like. That's something that I took great interest in school and something that I studied. Like as someone who knows a lot about portraiture and drawing a human face, I can look at that shit and be like, yeah, this is AI. Like I was a creative director. Like I am the creative. I don't know what I was. I'm the creative director for a BIPOC vampire zine that is going to be going to crowdfunding, and all the profits are going to charity. Very excited. We're raising money for sickle cell disease. But anyways, we were taking applications from people to submit to this, full well knowing it's charity, right? So like it's like people who are volunteering their work for free. And one of the submissions we got was from someone who is submitting drawings that look suspiciously like AI generated things. And I brought it up to the project lead and I was like, hey, I would bet like 95% these were AI generated, because I mean, look at them, they look a little fucked.
So people are submitting AI art for
as
art
stuff
submissions?
They've drawn. Yes, absolutely. Yep. And wow. I hate it here. I hate it here. And I was able to see it. I was like, no, this looks so fucked. And then there was that one person on TTRPG Twitter who was like, who made this whole post about having an AI cover, and it spawned a greater discussion, which I think, if you didn't see it, basically it was them saying, well, we need art to
sell our games, but we can't afford artists.
Right, exactly. So people were like, art is too expensive, but my game won't sell if I don't have art. What do I do? You're pricing out. Like there was like people were talking about it as far as like classicism goes, like, oh, like poor designers can't afford this, so what are we supposed to do? Just never publish? Like that fucking sucks too. And my solution here is that we as a space need to stop expecting the same level of polish from indie designers that we do from companies with millions and millions of dollars. Like we can't all fucking be WotC. WotC has WotC money. WotC can afford to have art, multiple art pieces on every single page that are of high quality. That's WotC. They can do that, but we are not all WotC. And as an artist, I understand that. And I understand that, like, you know, I'm willing to work within budget, and I will tell you what I can do for your specific budget. And I also 100% stand by this as somebody who also does layout art. A good layout is better than a shitty layout and some art slapped on the page. If you have good typography and a good, nicely laid out cover, you don't need art to sell that shit because it'll look nice graphic design wise.
So,
and
sorry, go ahead.
And we just need to like lower your expectations is the wrong way to say it, but indie designers should not be held to the same standards as multi-million-dollar companies. And that is the true solution, in my opinion. It's not about art being too expensive or people being too poor to afford art or whatever. Like, art is expensive because it is a highly specialized skill that you have to train at for years. I've been doing art for more than half my life now. I went to school for this for 4 years. Like, it is a highly specialized skill, and that's what you're paying for when you pay me to do art. And it is expensive. It should be expensive because it is a luxury. But at the same time, going back to the diverse vampires thing, there are a lot of artists like myself. I also can shout out J.N. Butler Art, who did the alt cover for Apocalypse Keys, among other things. They're really cool. They do really cool black and white work. But anyways, like, people like us are trying to make art more accessible, and there's these like the AI bros, which are the same people who went on the whole NFT grifts back when that was the thing. We all know it's the same people. Yeah. These people who don't have artistic skill, who are just trying to like make money off of this because capitalism. Bleh. But like all of these people, like I lost my train of thought. But yeah.
Well, you mind if I ask a question?
Yeah.
Because as a consumer, my stance, especially when that thread came out, was if you can't afford art, like their whole deal was, what are we gonna do? We might as well use AI art because we can't afford art. If you're making a game and you want art, it's your responsibility to find the funding for the artist.
Yeah,
I feel like AI art is a shortcut, and I feel like there's an entitlement that particular game designer had, where he's like, "Well, I am owed art because I have come up with this game."
Yeah. And
is that too hard? Is that too hard edge? Is what I'm asking.
So here's the thing, like, as someone who still values AI as a tool, instead of like AI is where AI is, because AI is always improving, but where AI is right now, it is not a finished product, and any experienced professional, the trained eye, is going to look at that and be like, this is fucked here, this is fucked there, this composition makes no fucking sense. Like, if you choose to use AI art, it's not going to be a finished product. If it looks good enough to you, fine. But people like me are going to see it and going to be like, aha, this is AI, and you cheap motherfucker. But the thing is, like, if someone chooses to use AI art for their thing, it gets really muddy. Because especially with all the AI that is specifically being trained on specific artists' work who don't want that happening and who haven't consented to that happening, who have actually been very outspoken about not wanting AIs like trained on their work and their specific style. Mm-hmm. It gets really muddy. like me as an artist, like again, I don't speak for every artist, but if you handed me AI generated concepts and been like, hey, I like how these look, can you do something like this? I would be more than happy to take AI as references or as inspiration that people have generated, because the beauty of AI art is that people who can't draw can describe something that they want to the machine, and it will pop something out, and then you can, tweak it until it looks like how you want it to look, and then you can take that to an artist like me who is willing to do this, because I have seen some artists who are very against this still, and I don't fault them for it. But for me, if you took that to me and was like, hey, like, this is kind of the vibe I want, can you do something like this?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, I can. And that's actually very helpful, because I really like when clients have visual references for me. It makes my job easier. And I would also take one of those weird fucking AI portraits that they poop out. Like, I would take an AI portrait and paint over it and bring it to a finished for you. I would fix all the anatomy issues. I would fix the weird hair, the twisted noses, the jagged lips, the ears being in the wrong place, the face structure not being correct, weird lighting discrepancies. Like, I would fix all of that and bring it to a finished for you. And the fact of the matter is that would cost less than paying me to paint a portrait from scratch. That is something that I would be willing to do. I know not every artist will. I only speak for myself, but that is something that I'd be willing to do. Because AI is a tool, and I think it can help a lot of people. It just is not a finished product and should not be claimed as your own work, because there are people doing that, and that's not okay.
So dumb question, which is, if, for example, I had a AI generated portrait that I was like, this is the character that I see in my head when I play this game, and I would love for you to like finish to fix it. Like, I want you to take this as a reference and to make that portrait. Can what you paint be copywritten? Because I know you said before, you can't copyright AI art. Since you're only using it as a reference, it's then, once you work on the portrait, it's then your art. It's something that you created. Is that
Absolutely
correct?
Okay.
Yes.
And also, from my understanding, based on what I was told at art school, when you paint over an AI piece, even if you paint over an AI piece, as long as you're changing it enough, like there's some weird percentage rule that I remember hearing, like you have to change it like 30% or something. I don't know the percentage. Don't quote me on this. But like well, and this is just general copyright law. If you're changing it a certain X amount, it is your copyright now. But you have to change it a certain X amount. So like if there's like a noticeable difference between what the AI pooped out and what you were able to put on top of it, collage, like even if you're just collaging it like with other like free open domain or whatever images, what have you, then if you change it that X amount, I'm pretty sure it is your copyright. But definitely if you hand me AI art as reference and I'm not like painting over it, if I just take that as inspiration, then yes, absolutely. Okay. The art that I create from that is copyrighted by me.
Is there a way for artists to opt out of having these AIs learn their style? That just seems,
and that's why it's fucked.
Yeah, that seems real fucked.
Like recently, there was an artist that had just passed, and the AI.
I forget his name, and he was only 47 years old. He was an incredible ink artist. Mm-hmm. He worked a lot in ink. I'm blanking on his name right now, but he was an incredible artist. And literally days after this man died, literally days after, somebody fucking trained an AI to work in his style and was like, now his art can live on forever. And everyone was like, what the actual fuck, my dude? And then there was like, of course, other people who were super all for that. And I was just like sitting there like it's the this is fine dog
It
gif.
Feels so disrespectful too.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's dead. Like, it feels disingenuous and gross, and I really hate it. And I've seen some, like, people, like, programmers for AI be like, yeah, you can, like, blacklight or, like, wait, or I don't know what the term is, but, like, we're working on ways to, like, do, and it's just, like, I mean, yeah, but people are still gonna feed your work to them. Like, even if you say you can't feed my work from the specific website domain to the AI, like making sure the bot can't pull from anything on this website, people are still going to download the images off your site and feed it to the bot anyway. And it's just, this is why it's so fucked. It's so muddy. It's so murky.
Like, who's making money off of this and how is my question?
Tech bros.
Because a lot of these AI generated programs, I know Wombo specifically has a subscription program where if you want a high res version of it, you have to pay up.
Yep. And then there's people, like, I've seen people do AI generated portraits and just sell them.
Or
that's the thing. I saw
people,
tokens.
Yeah, take AI generated art and turn it into NFTs. So the grift keeps going.
It just keeps going, and it never stops coming, 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 and it never stops coming. And where?
How are NFTs still a fucking thing, yo? Okay.
We lost many celebrities to the grift.
Oh my god! Like, if for a while there, it felt like we lost one every other day.
And like, I remember reading this thing about how, like, a lot of the celebrities whose agents came from a particular agency, that agency was pro NFT. So it was almost so, like, people were saying, like, maybe these people don't have a choice but to hawk them because their agents are making them do it because the company that their agents work for
is pro NFT.
Is pro NFT. I can't corroborate that. I don't know if that's true or not. But I did see people talking about that as a possible explanation. But that doesn't change the fact that I am very disappointed in Dolly Parton was one of the ones that hurt me.
Not Dolly!
Yeah, I know. And Tony Hawk. Those were two that really upset me.
Tony Hawk, no!
Yeah, Tony Hawk and Dolly Parton both drank the NFT juice, and I was upset about that.
Oh yeah. You know, I'm gonna say this, and then somebody's gonna give me a piece of information I don't know, and it's gonna just crumble my faith. But I'm kind of proud of the TTRPG community. I feel like not too many of us bit on the NFT thing. Now watch, somebody's gonna be like, "Did you hear about this person?" I'm gonna like break my fucking keyboard.
Yeah,
I don't think there's been any.
Yeah, I mean, like,
TTRPG folks.
There have been some, but a lot of them backpedaled after the backlash.
I think that as a community, they did a pretty good job of being like, hey, this is fucked. Please don't do this.
Yeah, I think the community, especially like Twitter space people, like specifically Twitter space people, because I'm pretty sure this is not the truth for everyone, but Twitter space people did a very good job. Oh, I see we're talking about Chaosium in chat. Chaosium tried. They did back off. And I'll give them that credit. They still unlowballed me so hard for art. They pay their artists like shit. So I don't
bucket shots today.
Yeah. But they also did NFTs, so when I saw them do NFTs, I was like, and then they backed down on NFTs, which I didn't see, but they still pay their artists like shit, and that's still a fact. So I don't like them.
Chaos, I keep hearing that name, but I don't exactly.
They make Call of Cthulhu.
Well, I mean, that shouldn't be your warning sign, right? Oh, okay. Well, okay. I've played it a few times, but
we all know that guy. I forget his name. We all know he was the greatest ally ever. He was such an ally.
See, the thing that makes me mad about that guy, and I forget his name.
Lovecraft.
Yeah, Lovecraft, H.P. Lovecraft.
I hate that he has such a baller name. It's like, it's one of those things when I hate when races have good things. Like, Lovecraft is such a dope fucking name. I hate when races have things I want.
You should just change your name to Noir
only thing-
Lovecraft.
The only thing that would be more lit than Lovecraft is if my name was Fucksmith.
Change your name, you hoe. I know I'm saying.
Fuck Forger.
Last night on for Roll20Con, I played a character named Symmetry Dinglespire, which was very fun.
Dinglespire is great.
Yes,
10 out of 10.
it was a
No
good
notes.
society game. It was a good society game. It was very fun.
So on Twitter, you have been just a gender menace with like a couple of these characters that you play. So I have to I love dressing up in character. It's for actual plays. It's one of my favorite things. I must say, I don't nearly have the range that you have. So you want to talk about when you're making your characters, how that all comes together? Because if y'all haven't seen, please check out Jay's Twitter. It's just the cosplay pictures, perfect. So
I'm gonna give you a little sneak peek on something. This is one that I did the other day.
Ooh.
menace.
I cut and styled that wig myself.
That's a
It was
good
very
wig.
fun. Thank you. I'll show you what it looked like beforehand. It was literally just my hair, but longer. It was literally just my hair, but not undercut and without the streaks in it. So it was very weird putting that on, being like, I just look like myself if my hair was all the same color and all the same length. But yeah, I cut it into a bob. But anyways, yes, let me answer your question. So, I do a lot of different character cosplays. I'm just looking on my phone so I can show some for people who haven't seen. Hold on.
That blur gets
See
you every time. I love when the blur kicks in because it makes it look like whatever you're showing is filthy.
Okay, well, that was a fun one. I liked that one. But anyways, if you haven't seen my character looks, you can go to my pinned tweet on @NalaWu, and the second tweet in their reply has a collage of a bunch of different looks that I've done.
One's a full-on cyborg. It looks dope
like
as
this,
shit.
But of course you can't see it. But it looks like that, and it's on my Twitter.
Heck
But
yeah.
anyways, how I do character looks, it's really funny because before I started getting more into wigs, I only owned 3 or 2 wigs, and so I was basing a lot of my looks on, am I using my hair or my long black haired wig or my green wig, or yeah, I think I only had those 2 wigs in the beginning, and then more recently I've been buying more wigs so I can do more different looks, and now I think I own just 5. I have the red short hair, I have the black hair I just showed, I have the long black haired wig, I have a blue wig, a green wig. I think that's it. Yeah, so I own 5 wigs, which isn't a lot, but I know as someone who has experience doing theatrical makeup design and someone who owns a lot of random clothes, that I can do a lot of different looks just by changing my makeup with the same wig on. You can do a lot of different looks with that. And as an artist, how my characters look, I put as much thought into that as much. Take 2. As an artist, I put an equal amount of thought into what my characters look like and their backstory and all the other stuff that TTRPG players are super into, with the characterization, the voice that you're going to do, the backstory elements, plot twists, NPCs involved in their life. All of that matters a lot to me. But also the character appearance matters a lot to me, because especially now that I do TTRPG performance as kind of a job, I love dressing up, and that's a huge part of what people get, quote unquote, by casting me in their games, is that I love dressing up, and it's something that not a lot of people do.
Mhm.
or at least to the gung-ho amount that I go. I would actually love to play in a game with a bunch of people who go as hard as I do, because that would be really fucking cool.
Yes.
Just to see, because like where and also where we'd get paid, of course, to do the cosplays every recording. But like I don't know, it's just something that I really like. It's almost like healing my inner child, because Halloween is and always has been my favorite holiday. I love dressing up. I've always loved dressing up, and I think honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, probably has to do with the fact that I am gender fluid and I wish I could look differently every day. And so getting to do this and getting to dress up as different characters, take on these different personas, it's something that I very much enjoy and get a lot of euphoria out of it. And I've noticed more recently, because I've been playing a lot of femme characters recently, that I don't get dysphoria from looking in the mirror with myself and all of this makeup on and all of that while looking incredibly, incredibly femme. I don't feel dysphoria from that anymore, which is really cool, because I like how I look when I dress up, because I'm portraying a character, and I know it's not me. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And yeah.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna ask: is it the control that you have over it that you think? Yeah.
Because I am inviting people to perceive me in that manner, and I want people to perceive me in that manner because that's the character. I've been playing a lot of girl bosses, and I'm like, yes, I want people to look at this character and think, yes, this is a bossy lady who absolutely could boss me around, and I would be okay with that. Or whatever. Maybe you hate him. Who knows? Maybe it's Maybelline. I don't know.
No, that's incredibly dope. And I was also going to ask, do you feel like your skill with art also helps you with bringing these characters to life? Because like I said, I love dressing in characters, but like you take it to a whole nother level, and it's like so good. And I'm like, how, damn it? And I'm like, do you think your art helps with that?
Yes, I think the art helps, but more importantly, I think my background as a theatrical makeup designer helps more, because if you're good at makeup, you can make your face do anything. Like especially if you start getting into the special effects makeup, like I don't like Stella, if you know Stella Luna TV.
Yeah.
She does incredible special effects stuff
Yeah.
for some of her character looks, and I really love seeing them do that. But like even with just basic makeup, like the other thing is that when I do makeup for streams, it is always going to be heavier and more dramatic than makeup that I would use in real life, because for it to show up on camera you have to go darker and bolder than you would in person. So a lot of my stream looks look real shitty in person, but that's because I do them for the camera, because I know that I have to, like I literally sit in front of my camera while I'm doing my look and checking my look in the camera, because I'll put on eyeshadow, look in the mirror and be like, yep, that's enough. Look up into my camera and be like, oh, I can't fucking see that. Okay, more, darker. And so like when I'm contouring my face for character looks, like it gets real dark, like if I'm doing like cheekbones, if I'm doing any of my age makeup, because like I played a character Dalise for a short series, 6 episodes, and Dalise was pushing 50, I think. Like the character definitely looked older, and so I was doing age makeup every session, and it looked real good on camera, I'll say that. In person, it looked real fucked, but that's also what theatrical makeup is, because you're designing for these bright stage lights that are going to wash out everything, so you have to go darker. And I think my skill and background in makeup definitely helps, because some of my friends who just really want to do character looks, like a lot of them are coming to me for makeup advice, and I'm like, yes, let me teach you how to do makeup, because makeup is a skill. It's hard, especially to get all the blending and like all the techniques that like I just inherently know, but it's not natural for a lot of people, especially for people who have never put on eyeliner before.
Like, that has been a
God,
struggle.
it's so hard.
My tip for people, especially for people doing the under eye, because like this is really uncomfortable getting getting eyeliner close to your waterline, or even on your waterline. Because did you know, some people, let me lean closer to the camera, sometimes people put eyeliner on top of the fleshy part, not just under it. You put it on your waterline. And that is a specific kind of makeup that you have to desensitize yourself to.
Yeah.
And I would be doing makeup for theater for a lot of young boys, like between the ages of 8 and 14 or whatever, boys who have never worn makeup before. And this is their first theater show. They've never fucking worn makeup before. And the fact of the matter is, everybody wears eyeliner in theater. You have to do it. And so what I would tell these boys to do before I put the eyeliner on their squirming little bodies is for them to wash their hands and take a finger and just run it along the bottom of their eye to get themselves used to feeling something touch their bottom lashes. Like, make sure your hands are clean. Don't touch your eyes with dirty hands. But like, do this to sort of desensitize yourself from that until you can stare straight ahead without blinking and doing this. Because once you can desensitize yourself to this, you can put eyeliner on. No biggie.
I'm gonna have to practice that.
I only do the top because I'm chicken.
Understandable. Yeah, and like the top is hard too, but like my best tip for that is like if you tilt your head back where you can still see, you can put it on without blinking too badly. Like people's mistake is trying to close their eye and put it on, and it's like, well, how are you going to do that? Because you can't see what you're doing. So I do like the head tilt back and draw like this. And especially if you're doing wings on your eyeliner, you don't want to raise your brows because that'll change the shape of your face. So when you put it back down, the eyeliner will change shape. So don't do that. Like, do this so you can get your wing in the right spot.
You know, you might also need to offer makeup consultation because I'm like, hold on, let me take these notes here.
Yeah, you can pay me to do a multitude of things. I can draw you things. I can tell you how to get other people to draw you things. I can do art direction. I can do makeup. I can do sensitivity reading. I can do voice acting.
Hire Jay.
Oh my god.
This is the ADHD speaking. I do so many things.
All right, so we're just about at the hour mark. So that means I have to ask you the question that I ask everybody. I know that's just a rough transition, but that's how we do it here. All right, so there is a silent war going on in the TTRPG community between those of us who think that dice are nice. We love these click clacks. You roll them, and that's what they're here for.
I know where this is going.
And then there are those that think that they are the forbidden candy, that you should put them in your mouth and crunch.
Okay.
I see Jay looking around.
I know, I'm getting nervous.
Well,
so Jay, I have to ask you, what side of this war are you on?
Before I tell you my answer, let me just, I'll be right back. Give me just a moment.
I don't like this. Oh, they're a cruncher, aren't they?
They're coming with some real candy shaped dice, aren't they?
Okay, so if you don't know, Diana D'Amico, I don't actually know how to say her last name, but great person. I bought dice from her, and she sent me, I'm just putting it back in the packaging, she sent me a die wrapped up in a candy wrapper as an extra, right? She sent me this. It was a die in a candy wrapper, and I spent way too long trying to figure out if this was actually edible or not, because it was in a candy wrapper with actual candy. It was in a little, an extras goodie bag that had two like Tootsie Rolls and this. And I was looking at it and I was like, is this an actual edible dice?
Diana's a menace.
I was looking at it and I was like, well, it looks like a dice. Sniffed it. I was on a call this whole entire time, so there was people who were watching me go through like this investigation phase. And I looked at it, sniffed it, didn't smell like candy. And I was like, okay, it's probably not candy, because like you'd smell if it was like chocolate, right? So like it wasn't chocolate. Sniffing it. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna bite it. And I bit it, and it didn't give. And so I was like, okay. And I was like, no, this isn't good enough. What if it's like a hard rock candy, right? So then I licked it. And then I was like, okay, it's not fucking edible. It's just a die. Why is it in a candy wrapper?
Diana is a menace.
But I do like crunching on die. I have this little D20 here, and you can just put it in your mouth.
Oh, you were the chosen one.
Well, what's actually kind of funny about this is actually made of body-safe silicone, so you can actually chew on this, and it's safe to do so.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, all right. That's fine.
That is an advocate
it's
for
still
safe crunching right there.
That's it's still a choking hazard. Still a choking hazard.
It's still a choking hazard. I will give you that. But this you can actually chew on. It's body-safe silicone, and if you feel the need to crunch your dice, highly recommend getting these. They're from, or at least I got mine from Normal. I think it's called Normal Human Dice. The shop owner's name is Kaz. Love them. They actually make full sets of these, so you can get an entire set of squishy dice. They're great fidgets, and they are body-safe silicone, so you can, in fact, eat them. Or not eat them. You can munch them. You can. Okay, wait. Okay, kids, do not try this at home. Let me rephrase myself.
Morning ritual does not support crotching in any
okay, hold
fashion.
on. If you feel the need to chew on your dice, this is a great solution. I myself do indeed feel the urge to eat my dice. Have I actually put dice in my mouth? Have I? I don't think so. Besides
in the course
thing
of that
you just saw.
Yes.
Yes, but I get the urge to. The primal crunch. Yes, thank you, CJ. I get the primal crunch, urge to crunch. But I don't actually put my dice in my mouth just because I do wash my dice. I do give them baths, but I don't not
a lot of y'all can say that though.
Yeah. Not everyone can say that. So I would not be putting your dice in your mouth if you haven't ever washed them. But if you do wash them, sure, chipmunk cheek that shit. But if you choke and die on dice, that's a fucking way to go out. And you can just say you roll a nat 1 on that one. Don't die, you're so sexy.
Don't chipmunk cheek your dice. Oh god, that's the boss form of crunching. Don't
do chipmunk cheek it, You just stuff them all in. You go like that. You know what? New challenge for the TTRPG community. First step, wash your dice. Second, let's see how many dice you can fit in your mouth.
No.
Yes.
Got the
Sponsored by Critical Misses, the Dice Crunching Challenge. How many dice can you fit in your mouth? Find out by using the hashtag Critical Misses Dice Crunch Challenge.
Oh, who said
that?
Who said that? That wasn't me. That was a pre-recorded message that you, the hosts, prepared yourselves. That wasn't me at all. And if the caption said it was me, they are lying.
See, this is what happens when Big Dice gets to the TTRPG community. Big Dice out here got people chipmunk cheeking dice.
Cause of death, tried to gargle dice, rolled it out one.
No.
Oh, boy.
Oh yeah, this is the segment of the show that's getting on TikTok.
Oh, absolutely. Right here.
Oh god, chipmunk cheek and dice.
I'm glad
that's the nerdiest form of suicide ever.
No.
It's like fucking.
I'm out of tea. I can't drink anymore. And I can't drink anymore.
All right. Moving right along to the next question that we always ask guests, and this is the one that usually gets them to cuss us. Morning ritual cheat challenge? That does not sound like what
that
you
does
think
not sound like
it.
DJ, that sounds like something completely different.
That sounds
Coming
like
to you from a TTRPG space from far away, the Morning Ritual Cheek Challenge. Do you want to find out what this means for you? Check out our OnlyFans.
Voiceovers for the channel.
Laughing cheeks
Yeah,
with both hands.
I'm a voice actor. You should hire me. I would love to do voices for paid money.
So let's go down the list. We've got consultations. We've got art. We've got makeup consultations. We've got sensitivity reading. This is a multifaceted individual.
I can tell you if your game is racist, or you can pay me to portray a racist. Whatever you want. Actually, I probably wouldn't take that role, but it's fine. Hello, Eris. Welcome in. So what's the second question you ask every guest, Noir? Can you get it out, or are you chipmunk cheeking
these chuckles? They're chipmunk cheeking these chuckles.
Listen,
hey, remember?
I hate crunching, but hearing chipmunk cheeking, you got me to be like, oh.
Someone clip it.
Hey, remember at the top of the show when we said the vibes would get more rancid as we go on? Here we are. Noir, please ask this next question. I'm here. I'm ready. Hit me.
Here we go. All right, here's the second question we ask guests, and it usually gets some of them mad at us. Here we are. If you could play any TTRPG that you wanted to with any 5 people that are alive right now, you get to choose the game, you get to choose who's the GM. What game are you playing? Who's the GM? And who are the other 4 people at your table?
Damn. I should have prepped. I will have to. Okay. Well, first of all, I think I'd love to play this cool like indie game that like a lot of people haven't really heard of. It's called Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know.
I've heard that it's kind of like a really small indie pub, right?
Yeah. And like
I don't know. The woke activists are starting to ruin it for me.
It's by Watsek.
I think Wizards of the Coast. I think it's and it's D&D for short.
Yeah, did like, Matt Mercer invent that?
Yeah. Anyways,
chat just got.
Chat is getting rancid too. We're matching vibes here. We're matching the energy. It's fine. This is what you get when you put me on your show. It's fine. I would love to do more of these. Actually, you know what's funny? I was invited by my college's illustration society to come talk to them later today, and I'm gonna have to pretend to be professional for 2 hours. I'm doing portfolio reviews for these kids, man. Like what?
Just get all the grammar out now.
I will have been coming from the most rancid talk show.
I hope in the moment where you have to be the most professional, you just hear Ryan's comment, "My cheeks are stuffed with dice."
Oh no. Okay, yeah, it's fine. Scad, you're getting what's coming to you, I guess. Anyways, to actually answer this question, if I could play any game with any 5 people so 5 including me or 5?
5 including you.
5
including it would be a total of 6 at the table, including you.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So you and 5 other people.
Okay. So 6 including me.
Yes.
Okay.
Whoops.
5 plus
I can't
I was clarifying. I was like, wait a minute. Okay, so this is a really tough question because part of me is like, do I choose to play with people I love playing with? Do I choose to play with like celebrities in the space? Or do I choose to play with like just famous people that I really like? You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because like that makes it really difficult to pick. Here's the thing. I don't watch a lot of actual plays just because I have an auditory processing disorder and it's really difficult for me to watch the stuff that my friends are in. But from everything that I've heard about Brennan Lee Mulligan, I think he and I, doesn't matter who's in what role, but he and I at one table would be chaos. And I would really I would really like to play with him. I don't think he's the GM though. I think it would be him and me as players. I don't know. This is a really hard question.
So far we got one seat filled.
Yeah. Cause like I'm also trying to think about like knowing my vibes as a player, like who would be a good fit. Like I'm also thinking as like a casting director now. I'm just like, who would I cast in this? Like obscenity.
Is that another thing you do? God damn it.
Yeah, I have done casting. Damn, I don't know if I'm gonna come up with something before the end of this. Don't mind me going on Twitter and just looking at, because like when you ask me things like this, I immediately blank.
Same.
That's what everybody does, and that's why they hate this question. It is my favorite. It putting the guest under pressure.
I know. I feel like I'm gonna have to like improv some shit here. It's like, yeah, okay.
Oh boy. Let's
Hydrate.
see.
Don't dehydrate.
Oh yes, everyone drink water.
Okay, fine. I'll be right there.
No, literally, what's everyone's names again? And this question floated across TTRPG Twitter like a year ago or something. Like I remember everyone asking this question, or like everyone engaging with this one post where this person was like, "Oh, like it's literally the same question. Like, what people would you want to play with?" And I answered it back then. I don't remember what I fucking said. I literally cannot think of like any celebrities, I can't think of anyone, and like I'm thinking of people, but I'm like, I don't just want to say like, oh, all of these, like, yeah, no, I
You know, when people get particularly stuck, what we do to help is that we pick 5 to give them time and maybe ideas. So Anita, would you like to pick 5?
Just one sec. I had to ban someone.
Oh yeah, I saw.
Okay. So 5 people to play at TTRPG with. Bouncing, not to steal Jay's answers, but I'd like to play with Brennan. Brennan Lee Mulligan. Abria Iyengar.
Yep.
You know what? I'm just gonna go Lou Wilson.
Okay.
So far I've got a Dimension 20 table, but that's
I'm just like I'm like, okay, so you want to be on Dimension 20? Got you.
pretty much.
Got you.
You?
Bah.
Always you. You're at every table that I'm at.
Boo, don't do that. Because when I make my table, I gotta get to you, or I'm an asshole.
No, you're fine. You don't have to. You don't have to include me.
And I'm
shit.
going for the weirdest table possible.
And then you know what? Just for the lulz. So we've got 4, right? Yeah, 4. Just for the lulz. The last one is gonna be. Has to be alive. Crap. Let's go with someone that doesn't play TTRPGs, just to sort of introduce them to it. You know what? Because they've been all over TikTok, let's do Emma Darcy from House of the Dragon, because I think that they would be very good at improvisation. And,
you just want to hear the order again. And just want to hear the order again.
Yeah, maybe. I might be a little thirsty, and I might need a Negroni Scagliato.
I knew it!
With Prosecco in it. DM, Abria, 100%.
Alright. So, I'm going to say my table. And I'm going to need y'all to let me explain.
Okay.
Alright?
A little nervous.
Y'all go get real mad at me. Well, I need y'all to let me explain. All right. Here's my table. We would be playing, let's say, I want a real simple game. Let's say we're playing Monster of the Week, right? That's the game we're playing. I would like to play with I'm stealing this from our guest last week, Johnny Stanton. One, I would like to play with Marshawn Lynch. He's a football player, massive dude, hilarious, good people. All right. Then I would like to add on to that. There's a TikTok creator by the name of Conscious Lee that I love. Really, really smart brother, knows so much about politics, and just he has really great stuff on being Black in America. He's just really interesting guy. I love him. Then I would pick Daniel Cormier. He is a UFC heavyweight champion, or at least he was. Now he's an announcer. You might recognize him. He recently was a guest referee at one of the WWE things. Fourth is Big E from WWE. Love him. And then my fifth and final player. I need y'all to chill and let me explain. Okay?
Okay, we're chilling. Explain.
My fifth and final player is Kanye West. Now hold on. This isn't actually a game. It's an intervention. I got some of the strongest dudes that I could think of and one of the smartest brothers about African American culture that I could think of. And he's not leaving that table until we get him out of the sunken place. All right? We gonna hold that brother down and we gonna beat the MAGA out of him. I'm sorry. That's my table.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
The show just got weird. All right, so then
An exorcism.
So that's my table.
Oh my god. Okay. I am slowly coming up with names.
If everyone, I was gonna ask if everyone was ordained in the group with this. Oh, okay. What do you got for us?
Okay. I don't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't have a GM yet.
Ooh,
Playing something
maybe a
GM-less is
GM-less
also...
game.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking about. I'm looking down at this list that I wrote as I'm struggling to name a person, literally any person. I'm like, who are people? This table. Actually, you know what?
You got me so curious now.
Okay. I want to play either Scum and Villainy or some other kind of found family super queer romance space romp kind of situation. Like that kind of genre of game, or to play some kind of like high political intrigue fantasy thing, which I highly recommend Scoop. I don't think we have enough time for me to explain how much I love Scoop, but it's such a cool game. It's The Sword, the Crown, and the Unspeakable Power, published in 2018. It is dark fantasy. It is powered by the apocalypse like you've never seen before. All of the moves are badass. And I'm running it right now for a home game, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, so I'm going to steal yours. I would really like to see... Well, actually, I'll tell you the GM last, okay? I'll tell you the GM last.
Okay.
Because I need you to think about this group of people first. So it's me.
Okay.
Brennan Lee Mulligan.
Right.
Because I think the two of us would be Chaos Crew. Sandra Oh.
Ooh.
Who I don't think she plays tabletop games, but I think she'd be really good at it, and I think she would bring a more level-headedness to this group of Brennan, myself, and her.
Oh, that would be good.
And then for the spicy drama, I would put either Connie Chong or Persephone. Because I've played with both of them, and both of them are really good at bringing that drama. The third contender for that spot is Kai, whose Twitter is, I think, a Lord of the Rings reference, Estella Maladris or something. I love Kai. Kai and I were scene partners a lot in the same game I played Taliesin.
Okay.
And Kai is an incredible performer. And also can absolutely bring that drama. So that spot, I was kind of like thinking between those three. And lastly, to round out the group of players, I have Ashley Johnson.
Another Chaos Lord.
Another Chaos, because I loved her in Blind Spot. Blind Spot is actually like one of my favorite TV shows of all time. There was canon polyamory by the end of the show. The show has one of the coolest character arcs for an antagonist to like good person. Like that character arc is really well written, and I really liked it. The show is more critical of the American government, despite being an FBI like cop show.
Yeah.
Despite it being a crime procedural show, it critiques the United States government in more ways than I thought they could get away with on primetime television.
Okay.
And it is still obviously propaganda. It is still obviously that. But I think they critique the government more than in any other crime procedural show that I've watched. And that's saying a lot because I've watched a lot of crime procedurals, and it is a genre that I really like, and I really hate how like propaganda-y they can get. But this one does critique so many aspects. There's a whole episode about police brutality. There's episodes about like, the other thing I like about Blind Spot is that everybody gets a chance to be the bad guy. Like it's not just like Middle Eastern people being the bad guy. It's not just people of color. Literally everybody gets to turn. The Russians are bad. The Chinese are bad. Homegrown US terrorists, white men are bad. Like everybody gets to be bad. And that's something that I actually really, really liked about the show. Also, there is a hottie for everybody. You want a woman who could kick your ass covered in tattoos? Yes. That's the main character. Yeah. For all the middle-aged white women who are displeased with their husbands, you got the main male character, who has a really funny American accent because the actor is not American, and his American accent, he kind of talks like this all the time. He always sounds really upset, and it's kind of funny. He's very broody, and it's fine. Oh, the character's name is Kurt Weller.
Isn't this the show with Jamie Alexander?
Yeah.
Sif.
Yes, Jamie Alexander.
Sif,
yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And
It's
like
very
it
good.
also, like the showrunners just love puzzles. And as someone, we're talking about Blind Spot. As someone who loves puzzles, the showrunners love puzzles. And if you haven't seen the show before, highly recommend, if you want to take a stab at it, each season, the episode titles are a puzzle. So you can figure that out, which I think is really cool. So Ashley Johnson, loved her in that show, loved her character. And I think she would bring she, Brennan, and me, I think would be like a chaos trifecta who can also bring the drama. And I think wrapping this whole group together.
Oh God.
Here we go.
Because the other part is that I know Connie and Brennan GM a lot, and I want to see them play more. So, but as GM, I think I would put Abria on this. I think this would be killer.
Abria is chaos as well, but definitely is such a good GM.
I've heard so many good things, and I really, really, really want to watch something that she's done. I just haven't gotten a chance to get around to that. But I think this is my final table. This
Is this your final
chaotic.
table?
I think this is my final answer. Myself, Brennan Lee Mulligan, Sandra Oh, either Sephi, Connie, or Kai, Ashley Johnson, GM'd by Abria, and we're playing either Scum and Villainy or Scoop.
Hell yeah.
So there is a third question.
Yes.
This one's easier. But before we get to that question, I do want to just mention on the topic of Blind Spot, some critters were really bogus to that show because it kept Ashley Johnson away from Critical Role.
Yeah.
It just like
it's a good show though. If
you're one of those critters, go fuck yourself. Is all I'm saying.
In a couple episodes.
No, literally, that's the other thing is that Ashley Johnson's character is so nerdy in the show, and there are several references to Critical Role in the show that's really funny. Like, her character canonically plays D&D, and one of her coworkers at work is teasing her, being like, "Oh, what do you play? Whatever." And she goes, "No, I play a dwarf cleric."
That's awesome.
She drinks. She has like Critical Role stuff, like just as props for her character.
Yeah, she drinks out, like there's a mug that she drinks out of. That's
yes,
like one of their very first pieces of merch that they came out with.
And in the very end, and I'm not going to spoil the end, but in the end, there's like this vague wedding scene for her character, and some people, I think, from Critical Role are extras in that scene.
Oh,
yeah.
That's sweet.
Actually, I'm just gonna say it's her husband, Brian W. Foster, but I don't fuck with him, so I don't care about him.
Yeah.
he was there.
I hear people say that. I don't know the full story on that, but that's just we can get to that in the dark roast.
Yeah,
I'm gonna ask the third question here, which is you are the god of TTRPG for one day, and you can do any 3 things that you want in the hobby. If you snap your fingers and you say, "I want all of Watsy's money to go to everybody that, I don't know, plays Paladins," you can do that. I play Paladins, so I would appreciate it. You can do anything you want, as ridiculous or as silly as it seems. Any 3 things. What do you do? Yeah, Sphinx, I've changed the question, so it's 3 things to narrow it down a little bit more.
Evil laughter. Delete white people. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding. Okay. So...
Fair. Valid.
Okay. So I know you said God Emperor. Okay, so what I would do was the first thing I would do is create a like funding program, scholarship program with unlimited money for indie designers, but specifically marginalized indie designers, to be able to have the funds to bring their games to a finish that is expected of them in this space, because it's easier if you have money and the resources to do so, to give people the resources to meet demands rather than try to get everyone to lower their demands. That would be my first thing, is to create a fund for Indian marginalized designers to bring their passion projects to life. The second thing I would do is I would make conventions accessible to everyone around the world, to lower that bar for people to be able to participate. This is a very vague answer, because does that mean COVID is gone? Yeah, sure, COVID is gone and people can attend conventions safely again. Does this mean that there are new technology introduced so that people from people who can't leave their houses for whatever reason can still, see the panels as they happen, can attend the events, all of that? Yes. Does this mean that people from places that are not the United States, is this a money fund so that these people can fly to the conventions and be in the place where they need to be to make it in the industry? Love how that rhymes. Then yes, that's what that means. Because that is one of the biggest discrepancies of equality I see in the space right now, is seeing who can go to conventions and who can't. And something that I noticed in 2020 when everything was canceled, when Gen Con finally went online, completely 100% online, is that people from around the world who couldn't even consider going to Gen Con could attend Gen Con in its full swing, and would not be missing out, and had equal opportunity to see all the events and do all the things that everybody else could do. And that is something that I really liked, and it really sucks now seeing that they've kind of just done away with that. So that really sucks. Yeah. So yes, that's the second thing I would do, is I would make all of these networking events and social events just accessible to everyone who would want to participate for whatever reason. Okay, let's see. We got a fund, we got conventions. The third thing I would do is, see, I'm really underestimating my power. You said God Emperor, so I literally can do anything.
Honestly, if you wanted to, you could make it so anybody that is racist is no longer allowed to touch dice. They're like molten hot lava in there. Like it's that level of ridiculousness.
Yeah. Okay, so
just got a bunch of racists playing rock paper scissors to decide what happens.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, that gives me a really good idea. So we're gonna take all the racists, all the people who have thought a racist thought, have done a racist thing, have made a racist game, have said long time no see, like all of those people, like
long time no see. I'm fucked. I've said that.
Okay. No, but seriously, we're gonna take all the racists, we're gonna give them all a D20, and we're gonna have them face off against each other, rolling a D20. So you just pair off against somebody, you both roll. Whoever rolls higher moves on to the next round. If you don't roll higher, you're out. And we're gonna do this bracket system for the racists, okay?
Are we doing a Mortal Kombat tournament with racists?
Yes, we're doing a Mortal Kombat bracket tier system with racists, and everybody who's not racist, but actually no, it's not just everybody who's not racist. The people of color in this space get to play fucking fantasy football with this, guessing who's gonna win. Okay, we're gonna draft the racists. This is getting rancid. Anyway, so they're gonna do that until there's one racist left.
Ultimate racist.
The ultimate racist. Okay, and everyone else who lost can no longer participate in the TTRPG space. They can no longer play games. They can no longer make games. They actually, in fact, forget what games are. They are not aware. They don't know what this is anymore. Okay, but the one remaining racist gets a chance to make a game or pitch a character or do something to stay in the space. Okay. And judged by mortal racist, judged by a panel of all POC sensitivity readers, they will present us their heavenly creation of something that is hopefully not racist. And if it is in fact not racist, Shantae, you stay. If it is racist, they are also deleted and cannot participate in the space anymore. That is my final plan, is to get rid of the racists, but we'll do it in a fun, gamified way that will be streamed on Twitch to the millions, and everybody can throw tomatoes at the racists, and it's fine.
I thought you were going to go the opposite way with it, where the ultimate racist guy gets to make whatever he wants, with the understanding like, listen, Chet earned it. We just ignored Chet. Okay.
No. This guy, because we all know it's probably going to be a guy, knowing the probability and math and numbers, blah blah blah. It's likely going to be a middle-aged white dude. No, he gets a chance to prove that he can create content that's not racist, and if he does that, then sure, he's good. He can stay. Shantae, you stay. Which I cannot believe I'm referencing RuPaul's Drag Race, because that fucking sucks. Don't like that. But anyway, he can stay. But if he does, if he proves after all of this gauntlet of racism, because the other thing is that before they face off against each other, I'm gonna need every single racist person to turn to the camera and admit what they've done. Like a confessional in a TV show, you like stand there and you're like, I ran a D&D game where all of the dwarves were extremely racist towards the dark elves, who were actually just black people. Yeah. And so but they all like confess, right? They confess their sins to the camera and then they roll the dice, right? It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. You know, we got this all planned out. It's gonna have top tier tech production, you know. Oh, and the thing that's going to hurt them the most is that they'll have to state their pronouns when they introduce themselves. Hello, my name is Husband Father Gamer. My pronouns are
American and Patriot.
And I identify as an attack helicopter.
God, I hate that fucking joke.
But yeah, that's what I do. Those would be the three things that I would do. Because in the end, even though this is super, super fucking ridiculous, at the end, you know what? We're going to end up with all non-racist people, and then maybe one guy who maybe was able to make a non-racist thing one time, but then, you know, if he comes out with, like, the legends of the Oriental East, like, then we kick him out, obviously. Then we can all murk him. But he gets a chance. Yeah. He gets a chance.
So
then everyone else is gone, and then the hobby, you know, all the problems will be fixed. You know, you get rid of the racists, all the problems will be fixed. Okay, all of the problems will be fixed.
All right, I'll picture the show idea. Here we go. I'm calling it uncanceled. Now here's the deal. If you've been canceled, right, you get to get uncanceled. But for 15 minutes, whatever group that you offended gets to just jump you. And you can't press charges. So, like, how bad you want it? How bad you want it? You want to come back to the scene? They're like, hey, blood in, blood out, my guy. If you don't learn to swim, then you bound to drizzle. Like
Oh my god. That's so funny.
I mean, a lot of these motherfuckers talk about that. Like, everybody's so soft these days, you can't say nothing. Well, you know what? You can say whatever you want. But for 15 minutes, that's your ass.
You know, it's oh god, what's her name? I don't like her. Hold on. What's her name?
Like, and the thing is, like, it makes you got to be more careful with who you offended, you know.
Oh yeah, no, okay. So it's Aquafina, I just want to talk to you. I just like from the situation, I just want to talk to you, Aquafina, because I liked you. I was rooting for you, and yet
Aquafina, get in the tank. Get in the tank for 15.
Jennifer Lawrence, I liked you. Hey, Jennifer Lawrence.
Wait, hold on. I think I just make the show better, right? So it's two parts of the show.
Okay.
The first part is like People's Court, where there's a defendant. The defendant is the canceled person, and there's a prosecutor, and the defendant is just trying to argue for less time in the tank. Right? So you get a court show, and you get to watch 5 to 15 minutes of just a thoroughbred grade A ass whooping.
Objection.
Incredible.
Excuse me, Your Honor. Might I inform you and the jury, or whoever the fuck is deciding the fate of my client, husband, father, gamer here? Actually, take 2. Actually, objection, Your Honor. And let me address the jury and Your Honor, or whoever else is deciding the fate of Satine Phoenix here.
Get in the tank!
Might I prove, or might I actually, no, I'm not going to prove it, but might I tell you all and explain to you all that you can kill a man in less than 5 minutes. And therefore, I ask for less time.
That's so wild. He really just said, hey, check out this sourdough. Get in the tank.
It's a fucking dunk tank.
On that note, do we want to take a quick break and refresh things?
Yes.
Try and recover from that?
Do we need a break? Do we need a break?
We're trying to slow down the ramp of this rancidness because it's only gonna get worse for me. I want that show. I would watch that. Just a bunch of canceled motherfuckers.
Uncanceled. You've heard of uncaged goddesses. Now get ready for uncanceled, problematic TTRPG main character of the days.
It's like Bully Beatdown meets the People's Court. It's great. They wear gloves. So nobody's dying, but you finna get rocked though.
Anita, at this point, you just gotta fade us out. You just
we'll keep going.
All right, everybody, we're gonna take a quick 5-10 minute break. We'll see you soon.
Boogity boogity. See you soon. Swiggity swiggity. Drink up that booty.
Oh.
And we're back. Hi everybody. So sorry about that. My stream settings seem to be a little borked at the moment, so I'm gonna have to probably reconfigure things after we get offline. But thank you for your patience, and we're back with the second half, lovingly referred to as the Dark Roast, where we get even more weird and rancid, apparently.
I'm super excited to be here live. The previous thing was totally pre-recorded, as you can see from our different outfits.
Yeah, chat, you didn't even say anything about the fact that we're dressed different. I'm a little upset with you. It's like you don't even care. We did this for you.
It was always for you. It was always for eyes emoji. Okay. I've tweeted.
Heck yeah.
All right. I'm gonna try and be professional.
Yes. So professional.
Now,
Super
yeah,
fresh.
it's not working. It's not working because
No, you
no
got
professional ever starts up. I'm gonna
Wrangle
try
it
and be
together,
professional.
Noir. We can be professional.
All right. So we've pretty much uncovered that you have a vast array of talents and you've worked with a large number of people within the community. I have to ask, is there any one thing in particular that you're proud of? Is there any like passion project that you really kind of want to push to the forefront? Anything like that?
Wow, Noir, thank you so much for the really well thought out and nuanced question that allows me to transition into talking about this thing that I really want to talk about. How convenient. So
Well,
convenient.
I'm good at what I do.
Hell yeah. My college, I went to the Savannah College of Art and Design. They don't do a thesis project, which is a little funky and a little weird, and that's a conversation for another day. But so I didn't do a senior thesis, but if I had done a senior thesis, this project would be my senior thesis. It is called Mirage of the Red Sun. All of the work I did for it is available on my website. If you go to the pitch deck tab on my site, Mirage of the Red Sun is a queer tragedy that I wrote. I did like character designs and I did writing, world building, like all of this stuff. What was really cool for this project though is I took a fantasy setting that I've been working on since like 2015 and I got to expand it and work on it even more for this project. The fantasy setting, his working name right now is Arumbai, or the House of the Sun. Arumbai is actually just the name of one of the continents, and I'm sure there's more than one continent in this world. And the House of the Sun refers to what D&Ders know as the material plane, because in this world, all of the different planes, they're all called houses. So the House of the Sun is where it's like everything the sun touches and that sort of thing. It's also called House of the Sun because the sun goddess, this is her home and she's the one who created this. And also the sun goddess's name is Haleakala, which is it's the same name as the volcano Haleakala, which means House of the Sun. So all of that is kind of all connected. But anyways, this was a fantasy setting that I've been developing since like high school and is something that I hold very near and dear to my heart. And for this project, I got to push it from fantasy into science fantasy, which was really cool because I love science fantasy. And there's not a lot of science fantasy out there besides like Star Wars. And I really wanted to do something that was in the realms of science fantasy but was more on the fantasy end because I think elves in space is really cool. I think like seeing traditional fantasy species mixed in with more futuristic technology is really cool. And also like narratively and visually, the blurring of lines between magic and technology is really interesting, and I really liked playing with that visually. Excuse me. I'm gonna blow my nose. I don't know why I got sniffly all of a sudden.
So, a quick question: like, when you're writing a particularly queer story, like I know that because of years of cis people like writing awful tropes for their queer characters, do you feel like there are any aspects of the story that you would want to add in good faith, but they've been so tainted by years of just like horrible representation that you can't add to your story?
Well, the thing is, actually, I was dealing with that, and I decided to go ahead and do it anyways. As I mentioned before, this is a queer tragedy, so one of the main characters does die. Actually, the main character does die at the end, and I was structuring it very much after traditional tragedies, like Shakespearean tragedies, where the audience is supposed to root for this person and learn along with them, and as they meet their downfall, the audience feels catharsis and is able to sort of like take that lesson in. And I'm fully aware, like what I was fully aware while writing this, that the queer people dying is a trope that is very bad and people hate that. And I was very aware of that, but I was still okay with doing it because I'll be restored once day breaks. And the logline is an ambitious acolyte of the sun seeks the truth about their religious upbringing and is forced to confront the dark natures of their beliefs when it threatens their only love. And basically, story development for Mirage, even though I've been working on this setting for a really long time, didn't really start until like this past summer, back in like 2021. One of the core cultural aspects of Arumbai centers this polytheistic religion based on the duality and balance between light and darkness, or good and evil. And with the ultimate teaching of this religion being that the world and its people are multidimensional and are not all good or all evil, that there's light and darkness in all of us, and what you choose to do with that information and what you choose to and how you choose to lead your life is up to you and up to each person. And the idea is that if you've lived a life of balance, you will have succeeded, but you're not expected to be all one or the other, because that is not true. Playing in that gray area is something that I'm really interested in as a writer and as a creator. And basically, I got to take this religion that I created and I'm very proud of, and I got to twist it and I got to make a cult, and it was a lot of fun. So basically, Mirage of the Red Sun is centered around this character named Theano Lacoste and their greatest ambition, which is proving to the world that the worship of the light alone will cause all darkness to fade completely. This is the belief held by the heretical faction that Theano is a part of. Theano's mentors preach that the believer who brings society to the light will take their place next to the sun. With their partner Idalia by their side, Theano's search accidentally crash lands the pair in a strange alternative world where Theano's religious sect has expanded their power and influence across the stars, calling themselves the Surians. Strangely, though, darkness continues to loom, and Theano grows more desperate to find the truth. The pair runs into the scholar, Dr. Kali Bormir, a theoarchaeologist whose entire line of work is studying the past in order to find out what the religion was like before the Surians came to power. Kali begrudgingly brings them to Matri Sivyani, the Surian high priestess who promises to show Theano the light. And this tragedy ends with Theano realizing too late that the worship of only light is flawed once Sivyani calls for the ritualistic sacrifice of their lover, Dahlia. Theano chooses to take Adalia's place and is consumed by the sun, completing the arc of a traditional tragic hero. So that's kind of the story. I haven't written it. I haven't done anything with it. I just have the concept, and it's really cool. And I gotta pay somebody to ghostwrite this because, like, I want this to be a thing so badly. I just don't know how to bring it into a thing. So for now, I just dream. But it was really, really cool. I also really hated the trope of like the disabled character dying. So Adalia, I
wasn't aware that was a trope. Oh my god.
Well, it's just like the disabled characters being the helpless ones, being the ones who are just always dying. Just write this because like I want this to be a thing so badly. I just don't know how to bring it into a thing. So for now, I just dream. It was really, really cool. I also really hated the trope of like the disabled character dying. So Adalia,
I wasn't aware that was a trope. Oh my god.
Well, it's just like the disabled characters being the helpless ones, being the ones who are just always dying. And in this, the fact that Idalia is disabled and uses forearm crutches is that does not affect the plot at all. Like she simply just uses them, and that is a mobility device for her. And she is she is the one who Siviani calls to be sacrificed, not because of, her condition or anything. It is because she is the one that Theonu loves the most in this world. And Siviani, being a typical cult leader, is like, you need to get rid of the thing that you love because you truly love the sun the most out of everything, don't you? And it's kind of that very dark. It gets really dark, and and I'm writing this from the perspective of someone who was raised religious and is not religious any longer. And the reason I write religion, because it is something that fascinates me so much, even though I had a really poor experience with it. I write about religion because it's kind of how I phrase it is that, like, this religion that I created is a love letter to what could be. Because this religion is something that I think is important to teach.
Right.
That people aren't all good or aren't all evil, and because basically Theonu's cult is toxic positivity, the religion. That's what it is.
Oh.
They believe that if you don't acknowledge the darkness and you only see the good and only worship the good, that all darkness will cease to disappear. It's kind of like, if I don't see it, it's not there kind of thing. And that's not true. And Theonu's character deals with depression. And they are depressed, and it's kind of like they are desperate to rid of this darkness inside of them, and she finds it impossible to do that because you can't get rid of the darkness without acknowledging it, and that's something that Theonu realizes too late. And yeah, so this story is very, like, personal to me. I'd pulled from a lot of my own experiences for it, and I don't know. I just think it's cool, and I like
it sounds cool.
Character design and all of the world building stuff that I've done for it. I have some. I made up a sport. I made up a fantasy sport.
Yes.
Okay, I made up a fantasy sport, which I really want to see played, and the only reason we can't see it played is because we don't have the technology to actually play it. But the sport I made is so cool.
Yeah, you got to tell us about. Listen, the bar is at Quidditch. That fucking sucks. So, please tell us what you got.
Okay, I'm gonna put this here just so you two can follow along. But if you go to my website, it is there. The sport is called Inri Sakala. It is a game, like, in the lore of the world, that was traditionally played by temple priestesses, because it has religious connotation, but now is played by just everyone. Basically, it is 2 teams of 10 playing in honor of their own patron deity. They are passing orbs around this circular field to try and capture the 9 circular goals that rotate slowly counterclockwise around the perimeter of the field. You capture a goal by throwing the orb to a person who's standing within the perimeter of the orb. So they have to catch it inside that circle in order to get the goal. Each team of 10 has 8 farers and 2 anchors to make the team of 10. The anchors are basically, they're the physical players, and they can grab onto the straps worn on a harness over the uniform to yank opposing players down to the ground. And if you ground someone, is what the term is, the orb that they're carrying is forfeited and passed to the other team. In order to score, you must make 2 uninterrupted passes before passing to the person standing within the scoring circle in order to capture the goal. Once the goal is captured, it disappears, and the remaining goals shrink in diameter and move a bit faster, making scoring increasingly difficult. First team to capture 5 of the 9 wins the game. The 2 orbs are thematically represent the sun and the moon, and when they come too close together in the field, all the lights go out, representing like an eclipse. So you can't keep, like, the same person can't hold both of them, for example. Okay. I mean, you could, but it would make it a lot more difficult. And the field is circular and has generated terrain, so it's kind of like the holodeck in Star Trek in that sense. So, like, when the players show up to the field, you actually don't know what the field is going to look like until the game starts, because all the players take their positions and then the field terrain generates in. So there could be mountains, there could be, like, it could be completely flat. But one thing that and this is very unpredictable, so it causes the teams to have to adjust their strategy on the fly. But most games of Inri Sakala almost always feature a waist-deep tri-river that always flows outwards from the center outwards, which doesn't make any sense, like, geographically, but just, like, for the sake of the game, that's what it is. They or sorry, it flows inwards towards the center because all the scoring circles are on the outside. So you can push someone into the river, and it's hard to stand and walk against that, especially if you've been pushed in. So that would cause them to be moved back towards the center. And yeah,
this is well thought out. Like
it's a game, and I really, really want to see it played someday. And I know that's impossible just because of how the technology evolved to make this happen. But
would you ever consider adapting this setting to a TTRPG?
I am working up the courage to run a game in my setting because it is something that I really want to GM for a stream. That is one of my goals this year. I'm getting closer. Like next weekend, I'm going to be running a GM-less game for Friends Who Roll Dice's what do you call charity stream. We're raising money for Extra Life, which is super cool. And I will be running a game called Heartbeats. We're going to be satirizing the medical drama genre, and I'm so excited for that. Cast is great. You don't want to miss that. Raising money for a great cause. And so that's like my first like dipping my toe in, because that game is GM-less, but I'm going to be like facilitating it. So that's like the first step I'm taking.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
And I've also been tapped to run one of the Radiant Citadel 3-shots for the TTRP gifts thing. It hasn't really been announced yet, but I also wasn't told I can't talk about it. So I am gonna GM one of those, and that will be assuming nobody gets in first, or I don't do it, or like, because we don't have a date for that. We don't know when we're playing that, because we're still trying to raise money. Which, by the way, if you want to help fund an all POC Radiant Citadel 3-shots, they're trying to get a cast for every single 1-shot, or for every single like thing in the book. So if you want to help fund that, you should check out TTRP Gifts Twitter page on the Ko-Fi to donate to that if you want to see that happen. It's going to be, I think, like there's like 13 casts, all POC. It's going to be really fucking cool. Because I have not seen a Radiant Citadel stream that is all POC yet. I haven't seen that, and this is going to be it. So,
hell yeah.
Yeehaw. But anyways, that will be my first time GMing on stream unless somebody gets me first. But I want to run my own content for stream. I'm working up the courage to do so. I really want to run something in this setting. But I'm looking for the right system because I don't want to do D&D.
Right.
And I'm thinking about maybe Scum and Villainy. I'm not sure. Scum and Villainy or Scoop, I think, could be really interesting in this system.
I would love to see that sport configured for the table. Like I think that would be really freaking cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
I feel go ahead.
No, sorry. I'm just, my brain is in troubleshooting mode because we've been dropping in and out of stream for the last little bit. But I am recording this, so the VOD should be relatively uninterrupted once I splice everything together. So sorry, everybody. I'm trying to...
No worries. Tech always fucks us. On a stream last night, I started ideating for the streamer bingo card for everything that possibly happens on streams. We've got someone needs to restart their computer. You're trying to talk and you're muted. Your video's not working. There's no audio when it starts. Someone switches to the wrong screen overlay. The music's too loud. There's a hype train, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, because bingo is fun.
I'm very sorry because this is not at all. It was working fine for an hour and 51 minutes, and ever since then it has dropped about every 3 minutes. So I might actually are we offline right now?
I mean, I think it's fair to say we're gonna ask you to come back if that's
so
okay
that
with you.
This right. So sorry.
Hell
about this,
yeah.
everybody. Yeah, we're offline right now.
No worries at all. We can, for the sake of the recording, we could do an outro, and then you can have me back anytime as long as I am free.
Because we still haven't asked you any of like the that guy questions or anything like that. So, I'm just going to do a quick message to chat and let everybody know, and then we're gonna do an
have
outro.
A that guy story.
Yeah, because
are we unable to get back online?
I'm gonna stop the stream right now and try loading it up again. But Just give me 1 second. I've been recording this whole time, though. Let me just try stopping it, starting it back up again, and seeing if it will get us back online.
Yeehaw.
I think we've actually got a problem with Twitch, because Twitch is just showing that we're offline.
So, just for our VOD folks, we've manipulated time.
Nothing is
Power
wrong.
of editing.
Nothing is wrong, and with the power of editing, we are back. Hello,
All right.
welcome back to Critical Mrs. Morning Ritual.
All right, I'm gonna ask you the big one, the one that we ask everybody, and then we're gonna wrap it up for today. But we are definitely gonna have you back so we can get this going proper. But here is the question. If you've been in the TTRPG community, you have most likely had the unpleasant fortune of playing with somebody that is a black hole of fun at the table. Someone that if they were yeeted into the sun, your experience would increase 100-fold. So, Jay.
Yes.
Do you have a that guy story for us?
I actually have a couple that guy stories, but the one, this one is not necessarily what he did to me at my table, but is what he did at another table that caused him to go viral on Reddit as being like a horror story of D&D story. You know, like those horror stories that get made into YouTube videos?
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Oh no.
You can look it up. The name of the video is "This DM Had His Party Walk Out" on the D&D Horror Stories YouTube. He played in a game with me at my college, right? So first, I was willing to excuse a lot of the weird behavior because I'm pretty sure this guy was neurodivergent. Like, I'm pretty sure he was, if not autistic, definitely had ADHD, was definitely neurodivergent in some way. He would trace art and his drawings that he would show us would be obviously traced, and it was kind of painful because we couldn't really say anything because we were only 80% sure it was traced, but we were pretty sure he was tracing, but he was passing it off like his own work. He was a little creepy and just a little weird. But again, I was willing to kind of excuse that because the game was fun, and he just seemed to be like that. You know what I mean? Let me just say my patience for being like that has gone way down since I started playing with professionals and being in the space.
Yeah.
My patience has gone way down, and my bar is higher for the kinds of people that I want to play with. But anyways, at the time, I was willing to hand wave that because the game was fun. I liked my character, all of that. But yeah, turns out he is just creepy, really bad. He got his entire party to walk out. He was if I remember correctly, he was sexually harassing people, just being creepy, coming on to the players, gross. Really gross. So yeah, so that's kind of a I'm glad he didn't do it in the game or at least he didn't take it up to 10 in the game that I was in. But it really sucks that he did that to other people, and he is now a viral Reddit post, so that's fun and cool.
Yeah, I pulled it up. 11K views on that. That's how bad. Was there a final straw? Was there if you don't mind me asking, was there a point where you were oh, no more?
It wasn't really for me. Our game with him in it ended just because of the pandemic. We were all going home from school. We didn't play over the virtual because we thought the pandemic would only be for the last quarter of school and then the summer, and then we'll play in the fall. But no, it continued into the fall, and then that's how games die, everyone. That is how games die. And we were so close to our finale too. We were about to face off against the final boss, so unfortunately we never finished the game.
That's the worst.
it's kind of, that game died a slow death, but it was a lot of fun. That was actually the last game of D&D I played before I took like a 2.5 year break from playing D&D. But yeah, like I there wasn't really a final straw for me because the stuff that I was tolerating from him was like fine. Like he wasn't very fun. He wasn't a very good player. He was very much a murder hobo-y kind of like, I'm gonna do chaotic things just cause, and I'm not gonna go along with what the party's doing because I'm chaotic and edgy. And he was playing a kobold named Stickstones who just like would butt heads with my character all the time for like absolutely no narrative or interesting reason. Like he was just being annoying just to be annoying, and my character, the way that I was playing my character, like I didn't like Stickstones at all. But like it was hard to separate the distaste for his character and the distaste for him, because I didn't like either of them, but it was just kind of like it was a really uncomfortable situation.
You have the distinctive honor of having a bad guy so bad that he has a video about him. Like, this is a first for our that guy story.
No, literally, because you told me in advance that this question was going to be a thing, and I was like, yeah, do I have a that guy story? Because like I'm trying to think about all the games I've been in, and like pretty much every game I've been in has been a relatively positive experience. I have had to use an X card on stream once, and that was not very fun. I was trying to prevent myself from panicking. It kind of came on just like so fast, and I like that game was maybe the only one that I had like a negative experience in the space. And so I was like, I don't have any that guy stories. And then I was like, wait a minute, I don't really have a that guy story, but I played with a that guy. Boy, howdy, did I survive playing with a that guy.
You played with the that guy.
You played with a documented that guy.
Yeah, and then I think like the only other thing is that this is funny. I got asked to leave a podcast that I had been casted on because I was too invested in my character, and the GM was worried that I was going to overshadow all the other players. And that's the reason that I was given by him, and it hurt because I was like, okay, hold on. So I'm too invested in my character's backstory, and you're worried I'm going to overshadow people. First of all, why don't you tell everybody else to step the fuck up? But number two, like, as an improv performer, I know about, sharing the limelight. Like, not everyone has to write pages of backstory. Like, you don't have to do that. I just happen to like doing that because it helps me inform my own performance of the character. I'm able to embody a character better if I know where they've been and what has led them to where they are. Because then when I'm making decisions for them in the moment, I have all of this history to pull from to be like, oh, like if this character has had a bad experience, maybe they almost died because they were on a cruise and the cruise ship sunk, right? Like then now the characters have to go on a boat. Like pretty much everyone would be like, yeah, sure, let's go on the boat. And if I've written this into my backstory, I can up the drama and up the ante a little bit and have my character be nervous about that. And there be a reason for that, because I like having those reasons. You don't have to have those reasons, but it's something that I like because it helps inform my performance. And, there's a whole debate in this space about like having 10-page backstories or not having 10-page backstories, and people are going to like what they like. But
right. Like,
it really sucked hearing that, because I was just like, I've been told throughout my entire life that I'm always too much. I'm too loud. I take up too much space. And it really hurt hearing that from someone who is white and probably insecure about just a lot of things. Like, I don't know what was going on. And like, I really like, just making sure that my character is well integrated into the world. And if everyone else's character wasn't going to be integrated into the world, like, yeah, sure, it seems like my character is the most important one, but I did the damn work to make sure my character was invested in the world and integrated into the world, and working with the GM to make a character that just fits so nicely into the world that they've created for us. Like, that's something that I like doing. And if other players don't want to do that, that's fine. But like, that's how I play, and it just kind of sucked having that happen to me.
It's the GM's job to put everybody on the level. The person that writes a 10-page backstory with the person that doesn't write anything. Like, that's the GM's job. And from the sounds of it, it sounds like this particular GM wanted to embrace mediocrity. Like, how dare you give a shit about the world I'm putting together? Like, my bad. I thought that's what we were here to do, to tell a story.
It came across as really just weird, and I'm not mad, because I don't think the table would have been a good fit for me anyways, like knowing how I play and knowing how, like, if this person was really turned off, scared, intimidated, what have you, worried about the fact that, you know, my character's backstory was really like in depth and whatever, and that other characters or other players weren't bringing that to the table, like, sure, that's fine. And like, I don't fault him at all for that, but it just made me upset as someone who, yeah, has been hearing this my entire life, and to be kicked out of this for that was kind of sucky. And it just made me think, like, you know what, like, I want to play with people who like the fact that I'm putting 110% of my pussy into everything that I do. Like, I'm extra, and I know that. I commit to the bit. That's what I do. And
being extra is not a bad thing. Like,
yeah, like, and I'm fully aware that not everyone's gonna vibe with me. Mm-hmm. And that's totally okay. Like, I know that I'm not going to be the best fit for every table. You know, as much as my RSD wants me to be liked by everyone, I know that some people probably find me incredibly annoying. Some people think I talk too much. And like, that's something that I just know, because that's what I've been told my entire life. And I will find my people. I will find people who like the energy that I bring to a space. They're going to like, you know, all of the stuff I do for my characters. They are going to like the fact that I dress up, and they will think, oh, that's cool that you like my game enough to dress up as your character, instead of, oh, wow, look at you showing off and overshadowing all these other people who aren't dressing up. Like,
I think this particular incident is putting a spotlight on one of the things that I think goes unappreciated from good GMs, which is like being able to manage social situations. Like, it fully sounds like this GM didn't bother to take any consideration for how what they were saying would make you feel, and instead with what they thought would be the easiest way to avoid conflict, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, because I think this was the right call, but the way that it happened was not great. And like, it really sucks that as like a GM, you kind of have to handle all of these like interpersonal conflicts. Like, that's just something that's expected of GMs, that I think as a space we need to talk about more, like being the social, like, you have to deal with all this stuff on top of writing a game, on top of doing all the things that GMs are expected to do. You also have to be, you know, socially empathetic and able to handle these social situations with different people. And, you know, not everyone's going to be good at that. And that doesn't mean you can't GM, but it just has to be something that you need to be more aware of, I guess.
Yeah. Like, I think when you take the role of GM, you do put yourself in a position where you do have to be the mediator.
Yeah.
I don't know if that in and of itself is a bad thing, but I think that we should do a better job of communicating that to people who want to be GMs. Like, it's not just having control over the story and having control over the narrative and everything. There's a level of social maturity that I think is a requirement of being a GM.
Yeah. And it's kind of like very unasked for too, because I think people going into this are like, why am I responsible for this? Like, the fact of the matter is that it is kind of a responsibility. And I think, especially if you're running games for strangers, you have to be more aware of that and how you treat people.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's those are like my two, I think, stories. Like I can laugh about it now. I'm just like, yeah, haha, can't you believe like I got kicked out because I'm too much, or like I put too much thought into my characters. And like I made a tweet a while ago and I was like, yeah, so I was kicked out of this thing for putting too much effort into my character backstory. But like who else wants, like other people want to play with me, right? And you know,
Hell yeah.
it was like a whole thing.
See,
But yeah.
I completely relate with that because I've also been kicked out for being a big shot, as it were. So it's just like, I think, I don't know if you're like me, but when I experience shit like that, I just want to succeed out of spite at that point.
Yeah, that was my thing, is that like I wish everyone who is involved in that well, but that doesn't stop the little bit of my brain that's just a little petty from thinking it's very funny that after I left, that podcast never happened. That thing died in a ditch. And
yeah, I mean, I'm absolutely not surprised because it sounds like, from the way you described it, that you were easily about to be the heart of this project, and they ripped their own heart out. So that's what happens. Play stupid games with stupid prizes.
I mean, like, and that's the other thing too, is that like I had an experience. I was on an Avatar game on TTRPG. It was a fantastic game. I had a lot of fun. The season 1 finale was so good. It was so good. Highly recommend you watching our first season. It was a lot of fun to be a part of. It really encapsulated and embodied what the Avatar TV show was. Like it had that level of comedy and balancing like the darker moments with the levity. It was very well done. Riley, incredible GM. And my castmates, love you all. If you happen to be watching this far long into this fucking interview, you got through all the rancid shit. Now I'm going to talk nice things about you. But anyway, that game, my character was very, very central to the plot of season 1. And it was something that I was incredibly self-conscious about. And I would constantly tell the cast, like in our green room or in our like decomp, like post-game stuff, like I am worried that I am taking up too much of the spotlight because pretty much everything is revolved around my character. And having had that other previous experience, I was just like, I am so nervous about coming across like, oh, this whole thing has to be about me. Yeah. This whole thing is about my character. Ha ha ha, look at me, I'm the star of the show. And I was like, I don't want to do that. And I'm constantly anxious and worried that is what, that my character is just taking up all of the limelight or whatever. And the cast just reassured me time and time again that my character, whose name is Choyu, like Choyu is the heart of this show, and this show would not be the show without Choyu. And that, you know, all of the characters have their chance to shine, and we all just happen to be, you know, revolve, like the first arc of this story was heavily focused on Choyu's story. And what they told me is that, you know, like the story that you brought, because this Choyu was also one of the first characters that I put a lot of my like Chinese culture into. Like I've never played a character who is as intrinsically Chinese as young Choyu. And getting to play Choyu was incredibly euphoric for me, both with feeling like I'm connected to my culture and also just like gender euphoria for playing like a really masculine character who is, you know, I don't know. I love my Choyu cosplay. It's a really good costume.
Can I ask what kind of bender?
Yes, I am an earthbender, and Choyu was the crown prince of Omashu, and like the whole deal was like after the war with the Fire Nation, Choyu's parents took over Omashu, and there's a lot of weight on Choyu's shoulders to step up and become the sovereign, to become the crown prince. And Choyu didn't really want those responsibilities and was kind of running away from all of their problems. And so throughout the course of season 1, they sort of learned to be more confident in themselves and to make the decision to step up and take leadership instead of just letting their parents do whatever, because their parents made a lot of mistakes. Their parents actually had this really incredibly shady deal with the Fire Nation that Shoyu was
Mm.
aware of and was like trying to run away from, because like they're handing me this fucked up legacy and I don't want that. But Shoyu decides in the end that the only way to fix this fucked up legacy is to take control and, shape my own future. And so like that whole character arc of like like having run away from my problems, being kidnapped by my ex, having my old childhood best friend and the person that Shoei was pining after their entire childhood come back and have like that slow burn romance going. Like all of like Choyu, like things from Choyu's past are coming back to haunt them and guide them and help them take that step to say, yes, I will take up the crown, but I'm doing it my way. um and the cast told me like this story is so compelling and we would not have a show without it, and so we like this, and this is good. And that was just
That's like, see, I love that because damage can be done by sitting at the wrong table too long or just experiencing the wrong table. Like, do you feel that this experience with the avatar table has made you a little bit more comfortable in the role of the heart of the show?
Maybe I'm still incredibly self-conscious about it, and I specifically, when I played another game, when because this other game was starting up right like midway through like Avatar or something, and I specifically told the GM, I'm like, my character could be like an NPC. Don't make any shit about me. Don't center my character at all. I don't want the limelight. I'll just be here. And as it turned out, we actually lost two of our cast members to scheduling issues and other things. So by the end of the show, for like half of the show, there's only three of us. So my character did end up being very plot important, anyways. And I ended up saving the city at the very end by like doing a whole like ghost ritual thing, but like with a smaller cast with only three people, like all of us were important,
Yeah.
and it felt way
Everyone
more
feels
balanced that
integral.
way. Yeah. And I actually loved playing with a cast of only three of us. It meant that you were never really off. Like there was never really a time that like you weren't on like performing.
Mhm.
But like the intimacy of a three-person cast is unrivaled, and I want that again. That was so cool. Uh, and that game, by the way, is No Peace in Death, Urban Shadows Second Edition on Frenzy Roll Dice. It was such like that six shot. That game is the longest game I've ever finished. I've never finished a long-term campaign. It is one of my goals in this space and just in life to finish a long-term game. I've come so close, but every game that has gone longer than 6 episodes has like died or like just not finished, because like this Avatar game, just like we started our second season and I don't know what's happening. Like people are just going through it right now. Like I don't blame anybody. People are just going through it. But yeah, No Peace in Death is the longest game that has had a start, middle, and end, and has been a completely finished story. It is the longest one, 6 episodes, and it is a good one. Like I'm biased because I'm on it, but like that story, Eli as the GM, fucking incredible. A really good storyteller. And Danny and Bree, who both unfortunately didn't make it to the very end. I love their characters so much. And then it was myself as Daliz, who I mentioned earlier, and Kai, who I mentioned earlier, as Finley, and Izzy Zemist on Twitter as oh god, I'm blanking on their character name, Zaya, I think. Yeah, Zaya Gray, I think. Yeah. So it was the three of us by the end, and it was so good.
I think sort of to touch on Noir's point about being comfortable in that role at the heart of the show, I think it might also touch on something that you spoke to earlier, where it's about wanting to be perceived versus not wanting to be perceived in that specific role. It is that level of consent versus like I'm allowing you to perceive me in this light please receive me in this light versus maybe not. Don't visualize.
Because I don't ever want to come into a session 0 and be like, aha, I am the smartest person here and I want this show to be about my character. It is something that I am aware that sometimes I come across like that, and I need to stop fucking doing that, because that's never what I intend. Like, that's like, I never want to come in and be like, yes, this show will be about me.
Exactly, and I don't think that's ever anybody's intention, right? And it's
exactly.
I think there's a difference between heart of the show and main character syndrome.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
true.
The heart of the show is somebody who, I'm trying to quantify this, so bear with me. I think the heart of the show is somebody who is supported by the rest of the table in promoting their story. I think someone with main character syndrome is alone in promoting their own story at the detriment to the table. So I think that's
a good way to that's a really good way to differentiate it. Because I also think, like, the heart of the show kind of role, if we're talking about that, like, as a role, is something that comes naturally. It's not something that's forced. And I think, like naturally, the story and a table of good improv players will naturally ebb and flow towards a particular character story in a particular given moment. But I think also they will let, or not let, but like with the give and take of improv, like, I think everybody gets a chance to shine. And that's just, that's good improv is knowing when to take the spotlight and when to step back and prompt someone else to go. And that is something that I think every improv actor can improve on always. And I notice fellow players at the table being really good about prompting the shyer players to, like, oh, and what do you think about this? Or GMs who are really good at prompting the quieter players for their thoughts, like, what are you doing right now? GMs who are really good at switching between scenes, because, like, one of my pet peeves is when I'm playing a game and my character does nothing for like an hour. I really hate that. like when me as a player is sitting there doing nothing for an extended period. What's this reaction? Like,
you are literally verbatim saying something I just said in the episode of, like,
two episodes
or one episode
really?
ago.
Yes. Oh my god.
Yes.
That's so funny. Yeah, like I really don't like that. It's like, and I have ADHD, so I'm gonna space out. If I'm not doing anything, I'm gonna space out. And then you call on me and then I'm like, what? Like it's like, oh, it's been 2 hours and I haven't done anything. Like, that's annoying and weird. And so, like, I really appreciate when a GM is really good at switching between the scenes and being like, we fade out on this and we go over here. And, because, like, when I GM very much like a TV show where we are all creating a TV show together. And so I'll talk about the camera. I'll talk about shots. I'll talk about, cold. I always love doing a good cold open or a post-credit scene, like all of that stuff. So that we as players, because basically I have us as players, I have our characters, and I have us as showrunners. Like, these are 3 different roles that you will take at my table, and all of them are different. Because players want to, like, play good and do good things. The characters want to succeed at their own goals, and as showrunners, we want to tell a good and engaging story that is spicy and will keep the audiences around, or what have you. So when I do, like, a cold open, that's something that, like, we as the audience are seeing. And we as the audience will have this spicy information about what the big bad is doing or whatever. But
get that good dramatic irony.
I love dramatic irony. It's one of my favorite narrative devices. It's so good because it also gets people hyped for the next session. Because at the end of the session, I will do, like, oh, and our post-epilogue scene is you watch as the, this person who we all know is the villain, or is the person that you're looking for, or is this person of interest. You get to watch as they, move their plans forward a little bit, or they find a glowing object and then fade to black, or, like, something happens. I love doing that
at the end. Yeah,
exactly. I love that. That's my favorite thing when I GM, and, like, I can't wait to finally GM on stream so that other people can see what I do, because I really like this, and I want to do it.
One of the things I used to do in one of the games that I was running was I would make a after credit scene a channel point reward. So like so if people were invested in the story, like it was expensive. So like, people would have to pay for that after credit scene. But I also had a mid-credit scene that was a little cheaper, because you know how in Marvel you have like the mid-credit scene, which is like a gag, and then the one at the end, which is like, okay, this plays into the story.
Okay, you waited this long.
Yeah. So, so I kind of want to end this with one last question here, and I think this question is going to be very telling. What do you think makes what do you look for in somebody at the table? Like when you're playing with somebody, what is it that they need to show or exhibit that makes you go, this is somebody that I want to play a long-term campaign with?
I think, first of all, someone that is on the same page as me as far as like tone and genre. Because like everyone can talk about tone and be like, what kind of game do we want to play? But like actually leaning into the chosen tone and genre is a whole other thing. Because one of my like, I love satire. Like if we're on a scale of serious, dark to like absurdist humor, like I love satire. I thrive in satire. And like you'll have to watch Heartbeats. That's gonna be all satire, baby.
I can't wait.
Come on in. But like satire is where I thrive as a like comedy thing. Like I'm funny, okay, and I like being funny, and I like making my friends laugh. And satire is the perfect like medium for me to do that. I fucking love satire. But like my actual like favorite general genre, like I love a good like soap opera where it's like dramatic to the point of maybe ridiculousness, but it's still dramatic. Like give me that Grey's Anatomy drama, right? Like that like that level of like just messy relationships. Anything like the worst possible thing that could happen happens, and the characters have to deal with it. A lot of romance. I love romance. Give me messy queer romance. I got a visitor. My roommate's cat just forced her way into my room.
The star of the show has arrived.
Hello, Artie.
This is the main character syndrome. This is the only one we accept.
Yeah. Come here. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, well, my roommate's cat says hi.
Hello, roommate's cat.
Hi, kitty.
Oh God, I lost sight of her. I don't know.
Now you're hunting. Now you're being hunted.
Artie?
Cat was like, I'm gonna be. I
looked away for 1 second. The cat just fucking disappeared. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna answer this question. What do you look for in a good castmate? So yeah, someone who is actually like just who vibes really well improv wise at the table. Someone who just kind of has that innate like give and take of like being able to play off of them in a scene. And this is my own personal thing, but I really appreciate when people are as excited as I am, because like sometimes I'll be in like cast group chats where nobody talks, and I just feel like a weirdo for like sending TikToks that remind me of our characters and like coming up with like AUs and shit. Like this is the shit that I think about, because I always throw so much of myself into every character I play, and like I appreciate a castmate who is as invested as I am, so that that energy can build and go back and forth and be passed around, instead of it just festering inside of me and me posting all of these things and not getting anything in return. It just makes me feel like I am like, I don't know. It's weird energy. Like it's just dead. And so like, if I am playing with someone who gets as invested as I am, who also sends me TikToks or also sends me like like pictures and it's like, haha, this is our characters. Like that is all such good energy for me because I love that. And so like I will 100% want to play with someone again if they are someone who does that with me. Because like that's what TTRPGs are. It's the act of co-creating a story together, and I love just talking about it. And I realize that not everyone has the time and energy to do that. Like I completely realize that. But if someone is able to engage with me in this manner, 100% more likely to want to play with them again and to create more stories with them again. And then also I just like, yeah, like in general, like if someone is a good improver, like someone who is like able to challenge me as an actor, like I love that. Like because I know that I'm not the best improv actor out there. I'm always trying to improve, and I look to people who are better than me at what I do. When I play with people who are better than me, I'm like, wow, you really just took that there, or wow, you really just said that. And like that's so cool, and I love playing with people who are better than me in that aspect because I learn so much from just being at the same table with them. And picking up that energy allows me to really like dive deep into my character more and go harder because I commit to the bit. And if somebody's committing harder than me, I will try to one up them as far as committing to the bit. And so, yeah, it's just like general, like good energy. That's what I look for is people that play off of myself and other players well. Like, nothing I love more than watching two other castmates just going at it. Like that is such good energy, and like my character is either just there or I'm not there, and me as the player and as the audience is just watching this totally enraptured and being like, yes, tell me more. What is the spice? Give it to me. Like that's all I want.
I lied. I said it was going to be the last question. This is going to be the last question. What's a red flag that immediately makes you jump from the table?
White person suggests an incredibly racist character concept. That makes me go, nope. I left a table once because the GM pitched her idea of having like the game starting with you being kidnapped by the evil drow and you are trying to like get out of the kidnapping or whatever. And I was like, I don't really like the idea that the drow are evil. And she's like, well, I got a black boyfriend and he's playing and it's okay. And I was like, okay, I'm leaving.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but Black people are real people, and if you're trying to compare them to fantasy characters, then that's a you problem that you need to work on, maybe.
Well, I think that's as good a place to land the plane as any.
Yep. Are we gonna crash land it? Are we gonna crash land it? Because like, yeah, like I like just literally, if anyone's being racist, I'm out of there. Like I don't stand for that. I don't fuck with that. And then also like sometimes I get weird vibes during session 0, and sometimes I stick it out and just see what it's like. But like, just trust your gut. Like I always try to trust my gut when it comes to these things. And luckily, I've not played in any games where midway through the game I'm like, oh fuck, I wish I like, what's my out? I don't have a fucking out. We're live on Twitch. Luckily that's never happened to me. I've really lucked out with, it's like a fucking marathon happening next to me. What is happening? Anyway, still worried about that cat. This is already in here. But anyway.
I told you, you're being hunted at this point.
Yeah. But yeah, those I think are my red flags. And then also, people who don't take safety tools seriously.
Oh, fuck
people like, because I have a lot of really specific lines, like a lot of lines that are really specific, and a lot of them are typical horror tropes. I also just can't do torture. Like I don't like when there's torture scenes. Don't like that. And so like a lot of these icks I have, and they're all really, really specific. And so when I'm listing all of them out, if the GM is just kind of like, yeah, like, and kind of like dismissive of it, and I don't feel heard, that's a red flag. And that would make me second guess playing at that table. But luckily that hasn't happened to me, so that's good.
Oh, it sucks when it does happen. But I I think we've learned. This was really insightful, and thank you so much for joining us. We're gonna put this. We're gonna put this VOD together. We're gonna be. I'm starting to put out clips of the show on TikTok, so please be on the lookout for those. I will be tagging you. I gotta get better at that. I messed up the last week, but that's been our show today. Oh yeah, I should do the outro. I'm Noah. You can find me all over the internet as TheNoirEnigma. That's Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Mondays over on Street Punks for Beacon, the Demi Play sponsored alien show. Fridays over on Gen Con for Table Takes, where we talk about the news. And then Saturday, you can find me right back here to talk to more interesting people in the TTRPG community. Anita?
Hi, I'm Anita. You can find me here most times doing Morning Ritual or the other shows around the channel. Stay tuned. I'm going to try to get more things together soon. I promise. Next week on Morning Ritual, our guest is Mixed Danger or Kelsey. We're going to be talking with them about more TTRPG nonsense, assuming I can get my my stuff together. And fix
Kelsey came through for me at Gen Con, got me a wheelchair when there wasn't any left at Gen Con because I broke my ankle. Like, oh, I love Kelsey. Kelsey came through for me.
Kelsey
They're great
is
people.
clutch.
Above and beyond.
But yeah, we're gonna have them on the show next week, and that's it for now. That's all I'm doing really. Hire me to do graphic design. I might have more things to announce soon. Jay.
Yeah.
Tell
Hello, everybody. I have been Jay or Nala. You can, if you want to follow me on Twitter, at NalaWu or at NalaDraws if you want to see my art. I am a professional illustrator and art director working full-time in tabletop RPGs. As discussed earlier, my laundry list of things I do. I am also a voice actor, sensitivity reader, and cultural consultant, TTRPG content creator, and actual play stream performer. I'm always looking for new projects, so if you know anybody or if you yourself are looking for art, I am looking for more projects come this holiday season for Q4, if we want to put it that way. I'm also booking into next year, so if you want to work with me or as a freelance illustrator or as art director, I would love to work with you, and my email inbox is open. You can contact me, naladraws@gmail.com. If you want to see my work, that's naladraws.com, the website. Literally everywhere but Twitter, my username is going to be NalaDraws. So you should follow my TikTok. I make fun, like I'm on TikTok for fun. That is something that I've made a rule for myself. I'm not going to do content on TikTok. TikTok is for fun. So I sing, I do voice acting, I do like silly little like character, like in character videos for my various looks. There's some thirst traps if you like that kind of thing. It's all there. You can watch me be a shape-shifting chameleon with all of these different costumes that we discussed today. And I'm on a bunch of shows, but the best way to keep up with all of that is to just follow my Twitter, where I will post about everything that I am doing, and all of the chaos contained within my body will be on Twitter. This is the weirdest outro I've ever fucking done. I think the vibes from the mid-show questions are spilling over into now. But yes, my name is Jay. I commit to the bit, and I'm super happy to have been here. Thank you very much.
Heck yeah.
Awesome.
Well,
okay.
No, I was just going to say that's been our show, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Apologies for the tech issues, but the VOD's going to be mostly cool. We'll talk to y'all soon, and until next time, the ritual has concluded. Bye, everybody.
Bye.